Next will be Annette McCormick. Thank you.
Thanks for this opportunity to address. My name is Annette McCormick. I just want to address the board in general. And first, I want to describe the expression on Sean Logan's face. In 2010, as director of Ohio Department of Natural Resources, he saw probably for the first time the disgusting, putrefied state of Ohio's largest inland body of water, Grand Lake St. Mary's. He was dumbfounded. He was shocked.
You want me to make that face now?
Yeah. This is a lake where tourists spend $160 million a year and 2,600 jobs relate directly to the lake. Or they did. Now a human can't even have skin contact because the water is so toxic. The numerous state officials who were supposed to protect Ohio waters have not had the guts to stand up to industry and farmers who have allowed pollution to run amok. I'm well aware that Grand Lake St. Mary's is not in the Muskegon district, but this same scenario very well play out in the Muskegon water if ODNR and MWCD go hand in hand with the potential assault on water quality from the dangerous mixing oil and gas with water. Do you really think there would be a global movement of individuals trying to stop some of this sort of energy production? Say something like solar energy. 1,000 marching to Ohio State House this summer to protest fracking. Nearly every county organizing some sort of citizen grassroots movement to try and educate others about protecting our most precious resource, water. Most of us unpaid, on our own time, I can guarantee none of us want to be here. I have a feeling that the board members are not doing their own research. I think you're simply towing the line. In the last year, as more independent science on hydrofracking operations has become available, the incredible dimensions of potential health impacts have become more and more evident. Very serious issues are emerging daily. The handling and disposal of radioactive wastewater and sludge, air contamination from diesel engines and drilling sites, groundwater contamination from leaking storage containers, abandoned wells and failed casings, the list goes on and on. You have gone against your word for waiting for more studies before selling more lake water. You've gone against the very core of democracy with your lack of transparency. One might get the feeling that you want these lakes for your own private slush funds. But we are going to do all we can for their ecological protection.
Clark Hootman?
No, I'm not speaking.
No, okay.
It's Chuck.
Chuck, thank you. Sorry about that. Bill Baker?
Good morning. Mr. President, Board, MWCD staff, thank you for having us in today and giving us all an opportunity to speak and allowing us to express our First Amendment rights. And as I mentioned last month, remember that I'm the messenger and I'm here to carry a message, so please don't shoot me. And also in my testimony, please understand that many of these comments are directed at the system and not as you as individuals. So the Muskegon Watershed Conservancy District, Mr. President and board members, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Once again, I come before you to ask that democracy be restored to this organization. Ohio Constitution guarantees us the right to clean air, fresh water, and fertile soil. The mission of MWCD clearly states that conservation is one of the 3 prime directives, and the people expect the district to uphold their own statement of purpose. What is evident is that the trust of the people has been broken, and that a structure of plausible deniability and lack of accountability has been carefully crafted to allow MWCD employees to manipulate the board and the judges overseeing the board into selling off our water land and mineral resources under the guise of development. Since February of this year, we have engaged the watershed employees in a disappointing effort to participate in understanding the reasoning behind the watershed's stubborn, close-minded desire to forever change the natural aspect of the district. At every presentation, meeting, and conference, MWCD's agenda has been to convince us what we know is not true, that fracking is safe and there is no cause for alarm. There is cause for alarm. Horizontal hydraulic fracturing is not safe, it is not properly regulated, and it is the gravest threat to our communities that we have seen to date. And briefly, I'm going to take a break and show you two documents that my hometown, Mansfield, has been forced to draft and our council and law director's office has worked on. One is a basic Bill of Rights based on Ohio Constitution that gives us a choice in whether we want toxic waste to be dumped in our own city limits. A Texas corporation comes to our city with the permission of ODNR and tells us that they're going to bring millions of gallons, tens of millions of gallons of toxic waste by rail car from Pennsylvania, New York, and West Virginia and dump it in our city limits on the north end in the poorest part of our community, and we have no say in it. And our community has come together and worked with our council and worked with our elected officials. We put trust in them and we put trust in you. We have an initiative on the ballot called the Environmental Bill of Rights that will try to regain a voice and a say and a choice in whether we receive this toxic waste or not. And I've submitted to you the chemicals in this previously, and I bring this up because every aspect of this process ends up with millions of gallons of toxic waste. And when you lease land and when you sell water, you are contributing to this toxic material. The other one is a ordinance. Once this ballot initiative is passed, this is called the Mansfield Maximum Migration Ordinance, and it deems this as a super or ultra hazardous activity. And I'll submit a couple of copies for Darren if you'd like to look at that legislation. I'll move on.
Close to your time.
Okay. There are hundreds of groups and tens of thousands of individuals that oppose what you are doing, and those numbers are increasing rapidly. Although I can only speak for the 300 plus members of Frac Free Ohio directly on the action we are willing to take, most all the people and organizations agree on the basic premise that you have failed in responding to our desire for full transparency of dealings with the oil and gas industry and have outright ignored our suggestions for precautionary measures and open communication. Speaking on behalf of Frac Free Ohio, I can assure you that we will continue to engage the public in education, that the groundswell of opposition to your plans will continue to grow, and that we have a large contingent prepared to engage in nonviolent direct action to put our bodies on the line to stop water from being taken, trees being cut down, roads being built, drill sites developed, and pipelines constructed. You failed us in a democratic process, and we the people will restore that democracy against your will, just as you have taken profit from Ohio's resources and resources. Respectfully, Bill Baker, Frac Free Ohio. One last question, and I am plagiarizing this from my friend Francesca. Who here thinks we should ban fracking?
Yes.
Carol Haley.
No, I didn't bring anything to talk about, but I would like to say, you know, I used to be, I'll probably blow this thing out. I used to be on board. So I consider that all of you sitting there, you know, this is both an honor and a responsibility. And you, Mr. Boyle, have had some of the most interesting grimaces on your face while listening to everyone else. I'm really concerned about my country. Okay, my country has been taken over by a bunch of bureaucrats, plutocrats, whatever the hell you want to call yourselves. But the fact of life is, this is the deal. Where the hell you guys think you're going to live? Where are you going to live? Okay? You're going to poison the water, pollute the air, and without those two things, you will not live. We know that. I figure you don't. But you know, I used to work for the state of Ohio and mental health. And they did an interesting thing towards the end of my 22 years of tenure. They decided to start discharging patients that on the day in which they entered were criminally, not just insane, but criminally insane. They had murdered, dismembered, raped, You name it, they've done it.
Is this relevant?
Yes, it is.
to,
Yes, it is, Mr. Boyle. Put your hands down.
ma'am?
I am a state of Ohio representative of myself, okay? And I get 3 minutes, and I don't believe I've come up with
No, you
them.
haven't.
Thank you. You know? What they did with those patients was they started to discharge them because they turned out to be really difficult. Such a surprise. And towards the end of my tenure, they decided to start ordering social workers like myself to discharge them. And I brought it to the administration. Please explain to me how I'm supposed to discharge a person that on the day you want me to put them out meets every criteria for forcible, judge-adjudicated readmission. I don't get it.
About 15 seconds, ma'am.
Well, they came up with this thing. It was called, they had met maximum efficiency of hospitalization. And I'd like you to know that some of them are probably in your neighborhood.
Okay, you've reached your limit, ma'am. Thank you.
Think long and hard.
Next is Nikki Witkowski.
I appreciate the opportunity to make some personal comments. I really support the wise things that the speakers have said before me. I don't think we can own land, but I'm a steward of 17 acres in southern Ohio where I go. I live in Columbus. I go down there to refresh my spirit. I go back there in the woods and it's quiet, peaceful, it's beautiful. I can drink the water and it's spring. And my neighbors who own property on both sides want us all to sign up for fracking. You know, fracking is down there. And I can understand it. They worked hard until their bodies, have failed them. They want some money. And wouldn't it be great if we could have money and still have all that? Still have the quiet and the peace and the clean air and the clean water that you guys have out here out in the country. I went to a presentation in Athens given by 2 women dairy farmers from Pennsylvania where fracking has been going on for a while. And of course, they had many things to say. They believe that the fracking water has somehow gotten into the surface and the cows have open sores. The one lady's daughter has some kind of mysterious health ailment and had to finally move away, and she's doing better now. But probably the thing that struck me the most is when I came down afterward to thank them, and I saw that the one lady, Carol, had red spots all over her arm. And kind of red in the face, and she said, yes, I have these red spots all over my body. I think my body is constantly discharging poisons. I just think, I don't want that.